It is my great honor to introduce, and I think I can say this not as senior advisor, but as his friend, the GOAT, the greatest of all time, the greatest champion of faith that we have ever had in the executive branch, the 45th and 47th president. Stand to your feet and give him the biggest welcome of the United States, a man I am honored to call friend, President Donald J. Trump.
No administration in modern history has done more to confront the plight of persecuted Christians around the world than we have. With us, it's a mission. It's actually a mission. On Christmas Day, in close coordination with the government of Nigeria, we worked with them, but they got to get tougher. I ordered powerful airstrikes to decimate the ISIS terrorists who have been slaughtering Christians in that country by the thousands. It's not even believable. We hit them so hard, they still don't know what the hell happened. And we were going to do it on a different day. I said, no, do it on Christmas, so they understand it. Remember, Christmas was, when I ran in 2015, when I announced, I said, we're going to bring back Christmas, because the word Christmas was almost gone, and we did. People use Christmas anymore. We brought back the word Christmas. They didn't want to use it, and we're using it again. But I specifically told Pete, I said, hit him on Christmas Day. Not earlier and not later, right, Pete? And man, did he hit him.
I don't think there's anything going to get me in heaven, okay? I really don't. I think I'm not maybe heaven bound. I may be in heaven right now as we fly an Air Force One. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to make heaven.
If we didn't have to fight this horrible governor and this horrible fake mayor, Fry, people don't want to be mugged. They don't want to have a murderer living next door that was, killed 3 people in a certain country and is now living beautifully here. Because generally speaking, if they've killed in another country, they're not going to be the best of citizens. And they're rough people. Remember in the campaign, I used to say that their criminals make our criminals look like babies. It's true. These are some of the meanest, most vicious people. They only gave us the worst. They don't send, they're very smart. Guys like the president over here, El Salvador. He's sent us a few. I don't want to talk to him about it. But he sends us some real bad ones. He's not, look, you just say it, we'll do it more positive. Isn't it true that you will not send your good people to the United States? Wouldn't you say? Look at him. He doesn't know. He said, what's going on here? But no, he sends bad people to the United States. And I'm going to talk to him after this. But I love him. He's done a great job, right? They're smart people. And they're very streetwise. When you're running some of these countries in South America, Latin America, you got to be streetwise. You got to be smart. He's very smart, very streetwise. But these leaders of those countries, they're not sending. They cherish their good people. They only send us their bad people. But we have done some job, and we have lunatics over there that are stealing money, by the way, also. I believe it's actually a cover-up of the $19 billion at least that they've stolen. I actually think they do this as a cover-up. Under the Trump administration, we're standing strongly behind Americans of faith, stopping the attacks on our values, our traditions, defending religious liberty, like no president, I believe, like no president has ever done before. I do believe that.
The National Prayer Breakfast was founded in 1953 when President Dwight Eisenhower accepted an invitation to join members of Congress to break bread together. Every president since has participated, regardless of their party or religious persuasion. The Prayer Breakfast offers an opportunity, according to its organizers, for political leaders to gather and pray collectively for the nation in, quote, the spirit of love and reconciliation, as Jesus of Nazareth taught 2,000 years before. Donald Trump never got that memo, or if he did, he's found ways to ignore it. In a rambling 75-minute speech at the Prayer Breakfast in February of 2026, we saw the quintessential Trump. His comments were grievance-filled, narcissistic, conspiratorial, factually false, divisive, and insulting. He referred to his critics as, quote, lunatics. He engaged in projection, comparing them to dictators and the Gestapo. He labeled Republican Representative Thomas Massie as a moron because Massie won't cast legislative votes the way Trump wants. Joe Biden was Crooked Joe, while Jacob Fry was called the horrible fake mayor of Minneapolis. Trump praised El Salvador's authoritarian president, Nayib Bukele. Bukele has referred to himself as the world's coolest dictator for his, quote, very strong prisons. The prison that Trump celebrated, known as CCOT, is notorious for its cruel and inhumane conditions. Trump emphasized that Bukele, who also spoke at the National Prayer Breakfast, was one of his favorite people. And Trump took credit for churches coming back, quote, stronger than ever, and for religion being, quote, hotter than ever. The spirit of love and reconciliation that Jesus taught 2,000 years ago was not particularly evident in the words of the president. Of course, it never has been. And yet, the audience of some 3,500, the great majority of whom undoubtedly claim to be followers of Jesus, responded to Trump's remarks with a standing ovation. It's a testimony to the marketing genius of Donald Trump that he never sold himself to Christians as one of them: pious, devoted, merciful, forgiving, irenic, biblically literate, a faithful husband and father, a man of high moral standards. Instead, he sold himself as their protector. He didn't hide his cruelty or his belief that the ends justify the means. Doing so would have been impossible for him because they're central features of his personality. So, he did the opposite. He presented himself to Christians as a fierce, even ruthless warrior on their behalf. It worked. He built a huge, loyal, fanatical following. The public persona of Donald Trump often presents a paradox, one that's becoming more pronounced as his presidency progresses. He recently made a candid statement about his prospects for getting into heaven, noting that he's probably not getting there. This admission, however cheeky as it may have been, is a notable deviation from the typical rhetoric of a politician who relies heavily on the support of evangelical Christians. It stands in stark contrast to his past assertions, like his refusal to ask for forgiveness because he doesn't believe he's done anything wrong. His supporters appear to ignore these contradictions, chalking them up to jokes or simply ignoring them in a display of what's been termed as cult-like loyalty. This is one of the most remarkable things about Trump's base, the ability to ignore the hypocrisy. For example, while his administration's Director of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., espouses anti-vaccine conspiracy theories, Trump himself quietly received a COVID booster and flu shot during a recent trip to Walter Reed Hospital. This visit was initially framed as a routine annual checkup, a claim that was quickly debunked since he had already undergone one earlier in the year. The fact that he went to a hospital rather than the White House infirmary suggests the need for more significant medical care, a reality that his base seems determined to ignore. This kind of vaccines for me, no vaccines for thee mentality highlights a deep-seated hypocrisy within the Republican Party's leadership. The question becomes, what exactly is Trump leading Christians towards?